everyone, and welcome to CB News. I'm Kaylee Larimer, your news anchor for today. In today's news, we have our 6 reporters covering different information about School of the Ozarks. To start us off, let's report to Dalton Ben as he talks with Miss Martin about the teaching atmosphere at School of the Ozarks.
I'm here at the lower level schools at S of O on the beautiful campus of College of the Ozarks. Today I have 2nd grade teacher Miss Martin here to tell us what inspired her to become a teacher and what keeps her in the classroom. Actually inspired you to become a teacher.
My second, well, I had several good teachers growing up, but my kindergarten and 3rd grade teacher was the same lady. Her name was Miss Sale. She is still alive and still teaching today, and she inspired me just with her love of learning and love of her students. So I couldn't wait to grow up to be a teacher. I'm the first teacher in our family. So.
That's awesome. And I heard that you first taught at a public school. Tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. I taught in Branson Public School for 5 years after I graduated here at College of the Ozarks. I taught 2nd grade there and then stayed home with my kids. Had 2 children and stayed home with them. And then when we were both, or all 3, able to come back to school, then S of O opened up and I interviewed to work here at the 2nd grade at the lower school. Got hired. So.
Having experience in both public and private schools, which one do you think you enjoy better as a teacher to be teaching at, and which one gives the best experience for students?
Sure. Well, definitely I believe that the classical Christian education that we can provide here at the lower school is the best education I can be a part of. Here I'm able to get down to the heart of issues with students, and instead of just behavior modification, I can get to heart transformation, and very excited to be able to teach in some classical ways in the grammar stage of development.
And is there anything else you would like to add? Something that you just really feel is personal to you about working here, or just anything that you feel you'd like to share with us today?
Sure. I really feel that God has called me to be a teacher, and I'm just thrilled to be able to come alongside parents and help their students in their educational process. And just, I really do believe it's a gift from the Lord, and just excited to be able to do my best in making the Lord look good as I teach.
We appreciate Miss Martin taking the time out of her day to visit with us. I'm Dalton Ben Milton for CB News, reporting at the lower level school at S of O. Back to you, Kaylee.
Thank you, Dalton. In other news, we have Sabrina meeting with former student Stephen Wilson on what it was like going to School of the Ozarks. Sabrina?
Yes, Kaylee, I'm here today with Stephen Wilson, former S of O grad, current C of O student. I'm here today to ask him a few questions about S of O to get insight on his personal experience.
What was your daily experience like?
I mean, it was kind of similar to other high schools, I guess, except for the uniforms. That was probably the biggest difference. We had a block schedule, so I mean, we kind of had a different setup every day. But I mean, I went to classes and everything. It wasn't like we did anything crazy different.
Do you think S of O has fully prepared you for C of O life?
Academically, yes, I feel I'm very prepared, but I think the thing that everybody struggles with is just like the social atmosphere of a college, because even though like C of O, like S of O was on the C of O campus, S of O is not C of O and C of O isn't S of O. There's a lot of similarities, but I mean, there's a transition phase for anything. So I mean, academically, I would say yes, I feel prepared, but I guess dealing with a little bit more freedom and a little bit more responsibility, that is been the hardest thing to adjust to.
So would you say you enjoyed your experience at S of O?
I really did. I thought about it a lot senior year, and for every like really late night that I had to stay up working on a really long project or a big paper, we got like some awesome trip. We either got to hear an amazing speaker who came and talked to us, or we got to go to Greece and Italy or Washington, D.C. So I mean, it was completely worth it.
Thank you again, Stephen, for talking to us about your personal experiences. I'm Sabrina Latour on CB News. Back to you, Kaylee.
Thank you, Sabrina. On more information about S of O, we have Teddy, who talked to Coach Jerry Martin about S of O's athletics. Teddy?
This is Theodore Isaac Miller, here with CB News, here with Coach Martin at the K. Coach Martin, when did basketball start on campus?
For the new School of the Ozarks, started 5 years ago. This is the 5th year for the school to have they started sports the very first year that they opened as a school. They debated whether they wanted to take on the endeavor of athletics in the very first year, but then they decided to do that because it would be an extra activity outlet for kids physically that they would be missing if they come from other schools. And so they wanted to go ahead and give them the same opportunities to a degree that they would be missing by coming to a new school. So winning is one of our goals, but it's not our purpose. Our purpose is to grow, to learn how to work together, work hard, go through adversity, and in our case, being a Christian school, using this avenue of activities to also honor God and show people how you can compete and how you can strive to win and be excellent and do it with the right attitude, the right sportsmanship, and actually have a point of bringing honor to Christ.
It's Theodore Isaac Miller, CB News, here with Coach Martin at the K.
Thank you, Teddy. Up next reporting is Galen, who met with Dean Shawneke, Dean of Work. Galen?
I'm here with Dr. Shawneke, and we're going to be speaking about the old workstations at School of the Ozarks. So can you tell me about some of the workstations at the old College of the Ozarks, at School of the Ozarks?
Sure. Back in the early days, in the early existence of School of the Ozarks, it started out as a high school back in 1906 and then moved to this location in 1915. And early on, everything was based on survival, and so that meant agriculture, providing food for the school. It meant taking care of the various needs, the cooking needs, the laundry needs, building, construction-wise. So early on, they've had 100 years ago, you know, it was very difficult to get around. It was very difficult to get agricultural supplies and food supplies into this area. You know, so if you wanted it done, you had to do it yourself. Abernathy Hall has now been enclosed and expanded to be what we know of as the Ralph Foster Museum. In the 40s, you had Foster and Memorial that were built. So we've had any number of campus buildings that were built by high schoolers back in the day. You know, the chapel actually was built by high schoolers because it was dedicated in 1955, 57, and you know, we didn't become a junior college until about that time. So predominant work was done by the high school.
Well, I think that just about does it. Thank you so much for
taking
taking time out of your day.
Good deal.
I really appreciate it. This is Galen Joseph with Dr. Shawneke with CB News, and we're going back to Kaylee.
Thank you, Galen. In other news, we have Carrie talking to Mr. Brad Dolph, the Dean of the college, and Dr. Claymont, a first-year high school teacher at SFO. Carrie?
Thanks, Kaylee. I'm here at the Upper Level School of the Ozarks with Mr. Dolph, Dean of the Lab School.
Well, I'm just grateful for College of the Ozarks and the vision of the Board of Trustees and Dr. Davis, Dr. Head, others in leadership to realize that what we do here on this campus is transformational for college students, but we have a unique opportunity to speak into the lives of close to 300 students from the time they're in kindergarten all the way through high school. And so it's a unique opportunity to get to influence students for Christ at a younger age, and I believe it fits well with the mission of the college itself.
So do you feel like School of the Ozarks prepares the students for College of the Ozarks?
Absolutely, and what we hope is that they're prepared to go anywhere. We hope that we prepare them for the collision points of our faith and the culture, and so no matter what university or college they apply to and are accepted, that they go there prepared to, as Peter says, give a defense for the hope that is in us.
Thanks again to Mr. Dolph for taking the time out of his day to visit with us. I'm here at the Upper Level School of the Ozarks with Dr. Clayman, and she's going to tell us what ignited her passion to become a teacher at School of the Ozarks.
I was a classroom teacher for 6 years in Ozark and Springfield school districts, and then I went into administration and served as an assistant high school principal, and then as a curriculum director, a district level curriculum director.
In your opinion, do the students benefit more from a private school or a public school setting?
Well, that's a really good question. We have something that we say here at the school, that we're not here as, I'm going to mess this up and then I'm going to get in trouble. No, I'm just kidding. That we're not a retreat from the world here, that we're preparing students to be poured out on the world. That's something that we don't indoctrinate them with, but we share with them a lot. And so I think that we are preparing them to go out into the world as ambassadors for Christ. And I think that's something that the public school can't necessarily provide.
I'd like to say thank you again to Dr. Clayman for taking the time out of her day to come talk to us. I'm Carrie Jean Lincoln from CB News, and back to you, Kaylee.
Thank you, Carrie. Covering more information about School of the Ozarks, we have Storm, who talked with a student standing in for the upper level secretary at SFO. Storm?
Hey guys, today I'm here with Daniel Betzer, and he's going to inform us on SFO and just give us a little background on that. What's one thing that you saw that set SFO apart from other high schools?
I definitely think the biggest thing would probably be the just the academic rigor of it. A lot of people kind of have this stigma that SFO is this like high priority, high class school that's like so like only the smartest people get into it, but I don't really think that's so. But at the same time, it is a very highly academic, highly rigorous school where you're challenged every day in the things that you do, and it's not for everybody, honestly. Like, it's for the people that really want to work hard and really care about what they're doing and really want to put a lot into their education.
And one last thing, what's your favorite memory of SFO?
I think my favorite memory is senior year. Every year for the seniors at SFO, the school sends them on an all-expenses-paid trip to Italy. And so I got to go with my entire class to Italy and get to experience Florence, Venice, Athens, all of those places, and get to see all the amazing history of Europe and the things that we had studied all throughout our years at SFO. So I think just to get to go spend that time with my friends in Europe and get to experience just the amazing things that we had already learned about was just an amazing, amazing thing.
That's awesome. This is CB News, Storm Massey with Daniel Betzer. And back to you, Kaylee.
Thank you, Storm. Our last reporter for the evening is with Haley, who was able to interview Dean of Character Education and Vice President for Cultural Affairs, Dr. Sue Head. Haley?
Hi, I'm here with Mrs. Dr. Head, and we're going to be talking about some of the oldest buildings on campus. Right now, we're in the Christian Ministries building, which is one of the oldest buildings and was actually the Thompson Dining Center before we renovated it into what it is now. So we're going to talk a little bit about the history of the school and how the renovations have happened and how we've updated our school but also kept it the same.
Great. Thank you for this opportunity.
So let's just talk about how we keep the outsides of the building but have renovated the inside of the music building and then this building.
So over the course of this institution's life, this building originally was the Thompson Dining Hall, like you said. And the music building next door, both of these buildings were renovated, gosh, probably 15 years ago, close to that. And, but they were very careful to keep the original structure intact because those buildings were part of, you know, honoring someone's legacy. So you'll notice, especially in the music building, they kept the original building, but they put a glass wrap around the outside just to enlarge the space a little bit, but not lose any of the history.
Right, and history is something that is very important to this school, and we like how we keep it there.
Yes, that's right. There's a lot of historical things about this campus, and we're blessed to have an institution that is able to maintain these great structures while adding new. But you'll notice they oftentimes look very similar. You know, like Mann Hall, our latest addition, is you know, we try to use the same materials in building our buildings so there's a consistency on campus.
Well, thank you for being here with us.
Absolutely.
I'm Haley from CB News. Back to you, Kaylee.
Thank you, Haley. Well, that is all we have for you today. We hope you learned something new about School of the Ozarks. I'm Kaylee Larimer, this is CB News, and we will see you tomorrow.